Greetings, comrades, and hello, everyone. I'm Quint866, and welcome to another review. One gonna be a little bit more different this time because, unlike things I typically talk about, like really bad games like Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3 and games like that, I'm gonna be talking about something that I feel like, which may sound similar to a couple of my other videos, needs a bit of a shout out. But this game isn't really underrated. It's called unfair and difficult. When, yeah, I can admit it is unfair and difficult. But there's a difference between bad and difficult. And that game I'm talking about right now is Street Fighter 2010 The Final Fight for the NES. Ah, yes, Street Fighter, and no, not the one I'm showing on the screen right now. I know it's confusing because Street Fighter is a very fun fighting game, but this game is actually, of all things, a platformer. And it does have fighting elements in it, but overall it's mainly a platformer, an action-based platformer. And before you go saying, what, that's not Street Fighter, well, to be fair, in brutally honestlessness, if that's even a word, this came out on the NES. And yes, you're probably thinking, wait, what? Seriously? So yes, this did come before Street Fighter the original, so I mean, this could potentially be the original Street Fighter. And one thing that I prefer over in this game over the original Street Fighter, and Street Fighter 2 for that matter, is the plot. The plot is actually really well developed, and it's actually very intriguing, which is not something easy to say for something with the Street Fighter name on the cartridge, because most fighting games don't have a very good plot. Anyways, the main character is named Ken, and yeah, before you go start saying, what? That's not Ken. Well, to be fair, guys, in my opinion, it fits well. I mean, Ken becoming a cyber cop after the 25th Street Fighter actually really adds to his development, and I liked it. It worked well. I mean, yeah, the game can be critically acclaimed for being hard and crappy. I mean, the game is pretty challenging at times, and this comic could explain how Ken himself feels. Yeah. But even if the fan base complains, I gotta be honest, guys, I'm not gonna, because I've had many memories with this game. Good ones and bad ones, to be fair, but mostly memorable. In the good way, in fact. And yeah, I admit that the plot can be kind of cheesy at times, but similar to Time Crisis, the cheesiness is what made it actually pretty good, in my opinion. Heck, I mean, if you're not even convinced about this game being cheesy, just look at the cover. Okay, anyways. The point is, the plot is actually pretty complex, but pretty good in my opinion for an NES game of all things. The plot is as follows. Ken, the previously explained cybernetic cop, has won the 25th Street Fighter tournament, and after doing so, he decides to partner up with a scientist named Troy, who later becomes his best friend. Then, Troy is murdered, and while Ken and Troy were working as friends, since Troy is a scientist, and Ken has cybernetic, abilities, limbs, etc., they created something known as cyboplasm, which is a type of substance that makes people really powerful, but if they take too much of it, they will become like insect-like creatures with robotic limbs and basically become evil. Then Ken finds out that the cyboplasm was stolen, and Troy's, dead remains that are in this form of jelly are there, and he wants to take vengeance naturally. Ken goes out to find the mysterious killer, and as things go on, it gets pretty good. There's some pretty good cutscenes, and what's really cool is that the cutscenes in this game, while they are kind of cheesy, yes, as I said before, but look at these graphics. These graphics rock. And yeah, I get it, they're from the NES, they're outdated, but at the time, this would be some of the most detailed graphics on the NES I'd ever seen. And what made it even better was that the plot was really intriguing, and yes, at sometimes I didn't get it, but looking back on it, it holds up remarkably well. And the cutscenes have even better graphics, like this one here, where the mysterious killer is messaging Ken through his holographic visor, and, for some reason, he knows who Ken is. Ken obviously asks, "Hey, how do you know my name? Are you the killer? Did you kill Troy?" Then the killer's all like, "Why do you pursue me, Ken? Why do you pursue me?" And I guess I've been kind of lingering on the plot for a little bit too long now, so I'll move on to gameplay. Even though this map is right here, there is no stage select, which would have been nice to have, but whatevs. Anyways, you're told your target, and you're told who you are, naturally, because it's the first level. And now, you must fight. And the game itself is a run-around kind of beat-em-up-ish game, and what you're basically trying to do is kill the target. And while all the other enemies don't really matter, except unless you need to get some health, which is a bit unlikely in this game, you can, however, kill them if you want to get more power-ups, to make your fists attack longer. Me and my brother, when we played this, as I said in my Nostalgia Nukes episode, used to call them the Rapid Hadoukens. And yeah, I know it's not necessarily, at least for the fan base, a Street Fighter game, but I think it should be part of the Street Fighter universe, even if it is bad. I mean, yes, Street Fighter has made a name for itself, but if this game was Bubsy in this world, I don't think people would care as much. So, to be fair, I do think all good things need a little bad, and all bad things need a little good. Anyways, you then move on to the next level where you fight this purple mace spike ball, I don't know, cheetah, gorilla, I can't tell what he is. He's purple though, so, stumped me. Anyways, you fight him, and as I said before, the part after this used to scare me with the dimensional rift, mainly because there was nothing there, it was empty, and I don't know why it was there considering I wanted to be a game designer when I grew up. But, nevertheless, this game has some pretty fun moments. There's bosses, there's moments you have to fight certain enemies to get your gate open so you can move on to the next area. And then there's other moments where you just need to fight a bunch of enemies. Or you need to fight a specific enemy in a swarm of enemies. There's pretty good stuff if you ask me. Another thing that really stands out in this game is the music. And let me tell you, the music in this game rocks. I'll play a couple tracks for you right now, in fact. so love that music, man. That music will always hold a special place in my heart, people. I can't begin to tell you that without repeating it over and over and over. Like, no joke, guys. Okay, anyways. And, yeah, the game itself can be pretty hard at times. I mean, yes, I couldn't even beat the level where you have to fight the plant head thing that flies around. But my brother got up to the sand dune level with the guy that does the sand tornado, and you have the sand waterfall constantly pushing you downwards, even when you jump. But, I have to be honest, it was a fair game. Yeah, there's harder games now, but this game compared to Dark Souls or Ninja Gaiden or whatever, you know, because they have their own ways of difficulty. This game isn't as difficult. Yeah, it's hard, but it's limited in its difficulty, so that's good, right? Okay, anyways, now to move on to the later parts of the game. Anyways, I could only truly find out about the final level with, yes, online videos, and of course the wiki, but from what everyone else has said, I gotta be honest, the final level looks hard. The final boss gauntlet leaves you not a lot of room for mistakes, to be fair. I mean, I'll be honest, even though I love this game to death, I will admit the final boss gauntlet, or final boss just level for that matter, can be brutal at times. Especially on the Slagma part, or the part with the whirlwind guys, the duo, the one before the final boss. And as I said before, the killer that was taunting you makes an appearance in this level. Naturally, because, you know, that's who Ken is after. He's the antagonist. What'd you expect? But I can, however, say that this level does have the purple spike mace guy again. But thankfully, though, he's pretty easy compared to some of the other enemies. But this time around, though, he does have, well, a more narrow arena, so that's a problem. This is the part I was talking about right here, the Slagma, or basically the teleporting guys. I don't know what to call them, seriously, I don't know what to call them. But, nevertheless, there's two of them, so you gotta deal with both of them before you can move on, and they can chip away a lot of your time. Oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot to limit. The entire game is timed. Yeah, I'm sorry if I forgot to mention that, but if you're not quick at this game, you're probably gonna have a hard time. Hey, get it? Time limits, ha 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 ha. Okay, that wasn't funny. Anyways, you fight through the two teleporty guys, and yeah, they're pretty hard, but the final boss itself is glorious. And that ending is also glorious for that matter. But I'll get to that when that comes up. So you go ahead and fight the two teleporting Slagma guys. I swear that's the name of him, Slagma, the name of this boss, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's Slagma. Anyways, you go down here, kind of like a Mega Man boss door, and you see, gasp, it's him, Troy! Of all people to be the true culprit, it was Troy. And it's just, it caught me off guard when I first watched this when I was like 12. Let me tell you people, this was just an amazing twist. At the time, yeah, there's better twists now to be fair, but I love the twist that Troy was actually, like, he faked his death and made Ken his first victim so he could control the world, and the pain that Ken is constantly feeling in his arm, which made him constantly go forth, but he still went through it anyways, all for Troy, because he thought he could avenge him, when Troy was really the bad guy, the puppeteer behind these strings. It blew my mind as a kid. And yeah, I never truly got to it, so I never truly know how it feels. But let me tell you guys, it was amazing. Ken and Troy clash, and Troy asks Ken, will you join me in order to control the world? Ah ha ha ha. And Ken is all like, never, I will stop you, and if it even if you were my friend, proper justice must be given, and you fight Troy. And the first phase is pretty hard, yeah. But then the second phase... Oh boy, the second phase is kind of creepy. I mean, look at this thing. Not right now, but once you see the face, you'll probably see what I mean. There we go. Yeah, that face, man, that face creeps me out. But even still, it's a great final boss. I mean, yeah, it's pretty unfair at times, especially when you don't have full power-ups to hit him with. And that can be another problem, is if you don't have enough power-ups to make your Hadouken or Rapid Hadouken punch, you know, long enough to even hit the boss. But I still like this game, and you know what? I'm gonna go forth and say that this is my favorite NES game alongside Mega Man. I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if people critically acclaim it for being difficult. Difficult and bad are two different things, people. And I couldn't say that any other way. The ending is Ken defeats Troy, and he used the line, "It stops here." And the girl that announced you and gave you the tutorial in the beginning says, Ken, come back to Earth. The cytoplasm infestation is becoming a problem. We need you. Ken, come in. And Ken, of course, waits a bit after being shocked from his reveal of Troy being the murderer. He says, I read you. I'm on my way. And then he teleports back to Earth. And the game ends. And let me tell you, people, this, even though the ending never truly got continued to what happens with the cytoplasm, I still think it was a satisfactory game. Anyways, I'm Quint866. Have a good one.